Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to episode 1080 of One Piece. Last time we had some just kind of aftermath settling down, having some food, having a bath, just everyone kind of relaxing, getting to just chill and experience some fun after everything that had gone down, which is fair. They deserve rest and relaxation. We also got some really cool trans rep confirmation with Yamato in the men's bath and Kiku in the women's bath. It still astounds me that there are people still arguing about this shit even after that episode. Like, they'll still try to, like, people have still tried, even in the wake of that episode, to argue against it. It's just astounding to me. It's like, you guys have some kind of superpower if you can argue things at this point. um, but yeah, it's really great to see. Got some good fun moments. Carrot losing her fucking mind in the background. Like, what the hell was she doing? Um, but yeah. Now, at the end of the last episode, we had the newest admiral, Ryukugyu, coming to Wano. We don't know exactly why he's there, but probably not for good reason. He's probably there to capture Robin or maybe Luffy or someone like that, considering everything that has been going down. So, it's just, I guess, a matter of time until we see what happens. Probably in this episode, but yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see what this guy can do. He was like flying in on a flower or something. It was really odd. But I mean, it's One Piece, so hey, really odd is kind of what this show does. It's part of the core, par for the course. Par for the core? Is it par for the core or par for the course? Either, I think it's par for the course because I think it's a golf thing. It's par for the course for this series. But yeah, I'm really enjoying how this post-Wano stuff is going down. Let's see where it goes next. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So first off, I really hope the camera doesn't die. I don't want to keep fighting with this. But sorry about all of that issue during the reaction. It's not really something I can entirely help. It's a bit out of my control as to what the camera, if the camera decides to work or not. I don't know why it's doing this either. I genuinely have no idea why it could be doing this, but yeah, unfortunately, I sometimes it works just fine. Sometimes it works perfectly. I'm able to get recordings out excellently without any issue. And then sometimes it gives me all of this trouble, and it's annoying. I might end up having to get another webcam, but I really don't want to if I don't have to, you know? Because that's a lot of money. A lot of money that I really don't have right now. But hopefully we don't have to worry about that. So in the meantime, let's get these afterthoughts taken care of. And if the camera dies at any point, I apologize. I'm probably going to leave it like that. So we have the full banquet this episode, more of just the celebrating and all. And am I the only one who thinks it feels really fucking weird for Jinbe to be left out like that? Like, part of this banquet, part of this entire deal was that they were going to be celebrating Jinbei being part of the crew. Like, that was the promise that was made when they were going to have the toast and everything before the raid on Onigashima. They were going to welcome Jinbei into the crew, but then Luffy decided, let's wait until after Kaido and Big Mom are defeated, and we can have a big banquet then and everything. So having Jinbei be separated from all of them, kind of doing his own thing and just not enjoying the festival with everyone else feels very fucking off. And I don't know, like, if there's a reason for it, if there's an intent to it, but it feels wrong for him to be separated like this. Because again, this was part of the reason of the banquet, to welcome him in, and now it's just he's not with them. So yeah, that it feels fucking weird. But obviously we have some big stuff in this episode. Outside of just the general celebrations, we find out that Luffy, Kid, and Law's bounties have all raised to 3 billion each. Kid is upset by this because he doesn't like to be behind them and everything, or even equal to them. He thinks he's better. So he wants to go and take out Luffy because he knows that'll raise his bounty, because he sees the other part of the announcement that was made. We see that the other part of the announcement at the end is that Luffy and, for some fucking reason, Buggy, have both been made emperors. Both of them have been elevated to become emperors of the sea. Buggy being a former warlord, again, inexplicably. And Luffy, having been kind of the leader of this alliance that took down 2 emperors. I think it's pretty fucking clear why Luffy belongs in the group. Especially with his devil fruit and everything. But the idea of Buggy being there just doesn't really make a lot of sense. It's like it's kind of the entire same thing as to Buggy being a warlord and everything. It just never made sense, because it's like he hasn't done anything. He's taking the credit for what other people have done, and somehow it's enough to get him this level of elevation. It's like he has not done enough to be worthy of being called an emperor, even with taking other people's credit. Like, he hasn't done anything worthy of that. The only thing you can connect him to is being on Roger's ship when he was young and, being basically the sworn brother of Shanks. But it's like, that's just association. Are they giving him these titles because of association? Because that's a really poor way to choose who's the new emperors, if we're being completely honest here. That's kind of not a great way to choose that kind of thing. But nonetheless, that's just what it is now. And like I said in the reaction, I knew about this, because this is one of those things that was almost impossible to have not heard of. One Piece fans, as I keep saying, absolutely shit with spoilers. They do not care if you're an anime only. They will fucking spoil you if anything big happens, because they don't give a shit. And there's no way to block these posts on social media, because, they don't tag him with anything you can block. They'll just post an image, and you can't really block that. Because it's like there's no words or anything to tag for blocking. It's sad, honestly. But, yeah, this is one of the things that I was spoiled on, that everyone was spoiled on. And that's pretty much my thoughts. Luffy makes perfect sense. If Luffy hadn't been elevated to Emperor here, it wouldn't have made any sense. It would have been illogical. With everything that's happened, he would have had to be elevated to Emperor here. Buggy makes absolutely no sense. There's no reason for him to be holding that title. Even with the stuff he's taking credit for, he has not done enough to be worthy of being an emperor. If it's based entirely on, again, his connections to Roger and Shanks, that's a really fucking stupid reason. But I'm really enjoying how this has been going with, again, these post Wano stuff. Because on top of all of this, on top of all the big like celebrations and just exciting revelations, we also got fucking Ryukugyu, one of the Marine admirals here, having absolutely destroyed the not even fully recovered king and queen, who for some reason were in Udon, and is now on his way to capture Luffy because he wants Senpai Akanu's head pats, which is still really fucking weird. But it does tell us what side of the Marines Ryukugyu is on. He is on the side of absolute justice, not moral justice. He is on the side of the likes of Akainu, rather than the likes of Garp and Sengoku and Smoker and Tashigi and characters like that. So it's kind of scary because he seems to have some pretty insane powers. It seems like he can manipulate and turn his body into like trees or grow tree like wood from his body or something like that. He can also use them to suck his opponents dry, kind of like how Crocodile did with his I think it was his right hand, I want to say. But there's a similarity there, except Ryukugyo pierces you with wood. Don't take that out of context. And sucks you dry. Listen, I'm just explaining what happened. Oh, that sounds so needlessly sexual. That's really fucking funny. I didn't even think about it until I was saying it either. It's just like it just was so blatantly obvious as I was saying it. But but yes, he pierces you with his wood and sucks you dry. Oh, okay. Which seems to be very formidable. Dude probably has like really strong hockey. How is he gonna be taken down before he can get there? And if he does invade the flower capital during this celebration, one, that's gonna be fucking just insane. Like, seriously, we're gonna have this big celebration after all of this build up, all of this setup for Wano, all of this preparation for this big fight against Kaido, and you're gonna break up the celebration? That'd be fucking rude. And if they don't do that, then someone would have to interfere. Someone would have to stop him, and I don't know fucking who could. At this point, unless like Akainu calls him and is like, "Get back here," that would probably work. He seems to like lick the ground that Akainu walks on. It's like, what even? Yeah. So that happened. I'm still kind of losing it over that. Oh my gosh. But we can see that that the Elder Stars were trying to stop the information from getting out about, I guess, the news of the emperor, the new emperors, and everything. They, especially with the D being in the name with Luffy and everything. So yeah, they're really trying to restrict the information more than ever, which is not really surprising. Just disappointing that they're just this corrupt. It's insane. Um, it will be interesting to see where that all goes. I guess though. Um, what happens with that now that Morgans has made sure the news is reported. um, yeah, I don't know, but the information is out there. Everyone knows at this point, so yeah, it's not really something that can be taken back now. Excuse me. Which I think is a good thing, mind you. But I guess we'll have to wait and see how that ends up affecting things going forward. Um, yeah, this episode had just a lot of like fun little moments during the celebration. Luffy mentioning to Momo that he doesn't want credit for this, that Momo should take the credit because he's the one who needs to lead Wano into, this next era for it. Just this era of hope and peace and, happiness. It's not Luffy's right as an outsider to take that. And you know what? Fair enough. I think that's a very mature way of looking at it. We also found out Tengu is Odin's father because what the fuck? Why not? And we found out through apparently what was said a long, long time ago back in Alabasta that the poneglyph there mentioned that Pluton was here in Wano, and apparently that's been confirmed. The fucking Pluton weapon of mass destruction, let's just call it, is fucking here. All right, why not? Okay. Yeah, shit's happening. We are going into the final saga after this, though. So it kind of makes sense that we're getting bigger info and more info on that kind of stuff. It's just I just wasn't expecting it, It just kind of like came out of nowhere. um, but yeah, it's a really interesting episode that kind of bridges the gap after Wano into kind of what is going to be the final saga. Everything that's going to come from this. My hair is not cooperating. And that's going to be interesting to see. I believe, I mentioned this before, but I believe it said the next saga would start on 1085, I want to say it is. So we only have a handful of episodes to go. And there's not going to be a filler arc in between. We're going straight into the next arc. And so this is going to be interesting to see how these last handful of episodes close out Wano. And I feel like a good number of it's probably got to have to do with Ryukugyu. But there's also going to obviously be like stuff like happening elsewhere in the world that we're going to have to catch up on. Like with Reverie and everything. But yeah, I'm very, very interested to see where they're taking this. And I feel it's going to be one hell of a final saga. It's going to have like some amazing arcs, amazing fights, great new characters. Old characters will probably be returning in droves. I'm expecting a lot and hoping for a lot. But we'll see. We'll see. And you know the answers to a lot of the questions of this series are going to start being, well, answered. We're going to start finding out a lot more shit. And that's going to be pretty exciting as well. And luckily, at least so far, my webcam hasn't died on me during this. So we can all be happy for that. But yeah, we're just gonna end this out saying that this was a really good episode that is setting up for the future in a really interesting way. So tell me your thoughts down in the comments below. And for now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.